For those of you interested in dry aging your own meats at home without any special equipment, this is a product for you. It's a product by UMAi Dry, and there's a special type of membrane bag that you will use with your vacuum sealer to seal the bags, and it allows the meats that you put in the bag to breathe, allowing moisture out but not allowing any bacteria in, so you can safely dry age any meat or product within your normal refrigerator without any issues. And so the recommended way of doing it is you'll want to get a large piece of meat. You could do it with individual steaks as well, but for most cost-effective ways to get a whole piece of meat like this. This is a whole New York loin. It's USDA prime. I got it at Costco. The prices may vary, but I got a good deal on this one. It came out to $8 a pound for the USDA prime, and you will transfer the meat directly from here to the UMAi bag. You'll first want to drain out any of the fluids that's in the bag first, and then transfer it directly in without touching any of the surfaces. And then you'll seal it up. But you don't want to dry off the meat because you'll need to have a wet surface. And let's say you were doing this with a meat that wasn't already bagged and moist like this, and that was already dry, you'd want to apply water to the exterior to get the exterior moist, because it needs to have a good seal that will stick to the bag. So let me get to the transfer process. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting off the bag. I'll be draining these fluids within the bag, rolling this back, and then dropping it into the other bag, which I'll roll down the edges. So let's get to that. And let me show you this bag really quick. This is a 14-pound piece of meat. And look at how much longer this is. So you could, those bags are good for about a good 20-pound piece of meat. So I'll have a bit of excess bag remaining. But this is the largest piece that was available when I went to Costco. And when you'll want to fold the back here, so that way when you put it in, it'll keep the edges dry, because when you seal it, you don't want the edges of the bag to be wet. You also want to crinkle the end up too, to make it easier to vacuum seal. So crinkle the end, pull it back, and you'll do a clean transfer from here to here once you drain the fluids out. So here we go. Steak is in the bag. I didn't seal it yet. I also cut off an individual steak that I will be vacuum sealed and will be using to compare to how the dry age version comes out that I'm going to be doing for 28 days. So again, before you vacuum seal this, you want to crumple the edges here. And you're going to be using these vacuum mouse is what it comes with, what they call it. And you put this on either end of the bag, and it will allow the vacuum sealer to seal the bag. Otherwise, it won't be able to if you don't use those inserts. But to start with the vacuum sealing process, you're going to want to start with one corner. So do one corner at an angle, and then you're going to do it straight on after that. So I'm first going to start with just a seal on the corner. By the way I get the bag to seal using this automatic food saver, which doesn't have a manual clamp, is you first put the bag in, and then you can take a piece of paper or cardboard and you put it inside. Then you stop it by pressing the seal button on your sealer, and then you pull it out. I already sealed it a couple times. I'm doing an extra. You want to at least double or triple seal these bags to ensure that it's going to be good. So this has four seals on it now. So this corner is good. Now I only have to deal with this amount of width. So that'll fit in the front. I can fold this over. I'll put the vacuum mouse in the bag, and then I'll put it in the front of straight in the front, and then seal it. You're not going to be able to get 100% of the air out, so don't worry about it. As long as it sucks a lot of the air out, that's fine. And as long as it's touching all the surfaces, it's not going to be a perfect vacuum seal, because again, this is not a vacuum seal bag. It only acts as a membrane. So here's the end result of the vacuum sealing. It's quite a pain in the neck using this vacuum sealer. You're much better off having a manual one with a manual clamp down and seal. They're a bit of a nightmare doing it. But anyway, once I finally got it to start sealing, I massage the bag into the crevices so that way all sides touch the meat itself. It's not, of course, 100% of the air is not out, and it doesn't need to be. Again, this is not a vacuum seal. It just needs to get to the point where it's touching most of the corners of the meat, and you're good to go. I sealed this several times over. I did repeated seals in different spots to ensure that it would stay, and you don't want to take any chances of the seal opening while you're doing a dry aging process. So UMAi recommends the first week of dry aging to have the fat cap up on your meat, and then after a week or so, a week, week and a half, then flip it over and do it on the rear side. And one last thing, you want to have the meat elevated on a wire rack when you put it in your refrigerator. You don't want to have it flat down directly. Granted, you don't need as much elevation as this. About an inch to inch and a half is fine. But that's what I got and what I'll be using. And again, I'm going to be starting it with the fat cap up for the first week and a half, and then flipping it for the remaining days. And I have my sticker here, my UMAi sticker with my start date and my target date that I wrote down. So for the dry age. So I'm going to be shooting for 28 days on this one. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe if you want to see more from me.